President Trump continuing to push his America First policy at his rally last night.
Looking at our country now as America First. America First. It's time for Congress to adopt a pro-American immigration agenda. We're putting America first by renegotiating trade deals.
This as he delivered on a campaign promise this week announcing the United States is formally recognizing Jerusalem as the capital of Israel and moving the embassy there. So why is the president facing so much criticism for standing up for our allies? Joining us now to debate it is David Tafuri. He's a former State Department official under President Obama. And Steve Cortez is a Fox News contributor and a former Trump Hispanic Advisory Council member. Good morning, guys. I want to start with you, David. What do you make? What is your reaction to the president's decision on Jerusalem?
Well, Israel is a really important ally for the U.S., and we need to do things to show that, and President Trump did this in order to show that, but there are much better ways to send this message. Unfortunately, this is not something that's going to advance the U.S. interests, so this does not follow his America First policy. Here's why. This is actually going to make it more difficult for us to do diplomacy. All of the other embassies are in Tel Aviv. This is going to be costly to move this embassy. It's also a significant security risk because the embassy in Jerusalem will be a big target. But most importantly, this is going to make it harder for us to achieve our primary objective, which is to push along the peace process between the Palestinians and Israel, because this has inflamed tensions in the Middle East, and this has made our partners like Jordan, like Saudi Arabia, who we need to support us as we try to move towards a peace process, also angry about this decision. So for those reasons, it hurts our primary objectives in the Middle East without helping us in any way.
Okay, hang on, David. You got a lot in there. Steve, what do you make of that? And also, just in general, does the president deserve this much ridicule?
No, of course not. You know, I think one of the reasons he's being ridiculed is because he's a politician who actually keeps his promises. Isn't that amazing? I think it shocks people in Washington, D.C. I called him President Promise Keeper. And this was an important promise to the Jewish community in America, certainly to Israel. More than anything, though, Griff, look, this is just a recognition of actual facts. It is a fact that Jerusalem has been, for time immemorial, for thousands of years, the capital of the Jewish people generally. And it has been for 70 years the capital of the modern state of Israel. So to channel Ayn Rand, A is A. Jerusalem is the capital of Israel. We are recognizing facts and reality, and it's respectful to our incredible ally, Israel.
But Steve, does it, as David says, it doesn't move our policies forward. It doesn't help us from a U.S. policy standpoint. How does this move us forward? How does this help relations there?
Look, I think it moves us forward again by recognizing the actual truth of the situation, of being respectful of Israel. By the way, too, the president gets very little attention, I think, and recognition for what he's doing in the Middle East. The fact that ISIS is all but eliminated in months into the Trump presidency is pretty amazing. Equally amazing, there's a reform agenda going on inside Saudi Arabia that would have been unthinkable previously. And I think largely the credit belongs with President Trump and our new alliance with MBS, the Crown Prince in Saudi Arabia. So great things are happening in the Middle East, recognizing Jewish as the capital of Jerusalem as the capital of the Jewish people of the modern state of Israel is consistent with a president who puts the facts first.
Well, one thing that's not great is we're seeing the protests breaking out, violence in the West Bank and Ramallah. David, is it your view that this is a increased security risk?
Well, it definitely is. It has caused significant problems for our policy in the Middle East. And notably, Steve did not address any of my key points. My most important message is that if we want to help Israel, there are more substantive, more positive ways to do that help U.S. interests and Israeli interests. For instance, there's a bill moving through Congress right now that would eliminate funding for the Palestinian Authority if it continues to fund suicide bombers. That's a really positive policy, a real positive contribution by the U.S. that will help galvanize supporters in Israel and also push the Palestinian Authority to do the right thing. That's the type of thing that we should be doing to send the right message to Israel, but also to advance our own interests in moving the peace process forward.
All right, guys,
it's not binary. It's not either or. We can still do that. And by the way, one thing this president won't do, which your boss did, President Obama, we won't be sending $1.5 billion of cash to the mullahs in Tehran. That will not happen.
Steve, you're a great cheerleader for President Trump, but you haven't addressed any of my points.
Listen, guys, I got to leave it right there. And you're talking about the pay for slay thing, a topic for another day. David Tafuri and Steve Cortez, thanks for joining us, guys.